Horoscope. I'm super excited to have you here. In the description box below, after I get off this live, I will add all the dates of what I have in the bottom, okay? So try using your whole sign to see what events are happening, meaning external things are happening, and use PLACIDUS for your internal world, okay? And the closer that it gets to your natal degree, the more impacted you will be by the transits yourself. So if it's a sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon, Mars, rising, okay? If any of those degrees are coming close, then you will be personally impacted, and your houses as well, house cusps as well. So if you want to see the rest of or read the rest of the rising signs, so on my Patreon is in the description below, are going to be all the other rising signs for the year, okay? Some of them I wrote, some of them I spoke on Patreon, so it's whatever I feel like doing at the time, okay? I hope you guys are well. I have my little tea right here. It's so good. I hope you guys are doing well. And I'm gonna read what we got going on. Virgo rising's got a busy year going. You know what I'm saying? Virgo rising's got a busy year going. All of them are not posted. They'll be all posted in a few days. I'm halfway through. All of them are up until Virgo right now. So Virgo rising got a busy year coming up. You already had a busy year. All right, but you guys have a lot of stuff going on. So your prominent houses are the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 12th houses. I am looking at all of the planets, but I'm looking at the nodes, Lilith and Chiron, because I feel like, all right, Lilith and Chiron have a lot to do with what's going on right now as well. All right, so that's what I feel, and that's why I'm looking at these transits and incorporating them into this reading. Now, what does this mean? There's going to be changes in your daily routine, in your health regimen. Okay, there could be changes in how your pets behave, your work environments, your personal relationships, your marriages, your personal consultants, business partnerships. There can be changes in taxes, wills, trusts, deeds, estates. All right? There can be changes because of, inheritances. There could be power struggles. You'll have to deal with trauma, some type of healing, some type of death, rebirth. I feel like most Virgo risings have dealt with some type of death recently, because Chiron is in the 8th house, and then South Node was transiting your 3rd house. And this can deal with the loss of a close person or somebody close to you. Okay, there are also going to be changes in your belief system, in your faith, in how you travel, your personal philosophy. There could be legal matters, personal morals change, ethics have changed, your partner's finances. So there's a lot of things happening for Virgo risings. There's a lot of psychological changes happening. There's a lot of changes in relationships happening. There's a lot of changes in finance happening, career changes happening. This is why I was like, let me just do Virgo rising. Hi everybody. If you want to use sidereal or tropical, it's up to you. The story is still the same. It's just about degree difference. Okay, you can use both. I like to intertwine both into my readings because they make sense. Again, you can use whole sign for the outside events, kind of like the themes or the challenges where you're going to be having, right? It's like if Saturn's transiting your 7th house for Virgo rising, you're going to have themes and struggles for 2.5 years around personal close relationships. Boom. But when is it going to happen? Use your degrees and your PLACIDUS. You hear what I'm saying? When is it going to go down? It might not go down at the beginning of when Saturn goes into Pisces. It might go down at the end because maybe your Saturn is at 25 degrees in Pisces. And that's when your Saturn return is, or your 7th house cusp is at 25 degrees Pisces. And that's when you know, Saturn enters your 7th house. And that's when a challenge will occur. So whatever happens, there will be a knock on the door if it's on your house cusp. So if your house cusp is at 12 degrees and you see Pluto at 11 degrees, understand something is going down when Pluto knocks on that 12 degrees. Something is happening, okay? So whatever house that impacts, whatever that is, something is gonna happen there for you personally. However, you can use whole sign to kind of show you, okay, for the next 2.5 years, Saturn, this is what I'll be using for. This is what I'll be dealing with this is where I'll have delays. You know what I'm saying? This is where I'll have struggles and delays and setbacks. Oh, Jupiter's gonna be here for a year. This is where I can find my blessings. This is where I can find my relief. These are places I should go on vacation. You know, if you're looking to Pluto, that's where your psychological changes are going to be, and how it interacts with your personal psychology is what you're going to look for. Is it creating a sextile, a trine, a square, a conjunction, an opposition? That's how you're going to know your psychology is being challenged, is being changed, and things of that nature. So Pluto in Aquarius is happening for everybody. Everybody's psychology is changing because everybody's putting more value and more power into the internet. Aquarius rules technology, new age things. So the internet is becoming more powerful day by day, right? And we're gonna see how this dynamic plays out. This is one of the many dynamics with Pluto and Aquarius, because that means just more technology is gonna take over our lives. We're gonna be more obsessed with convenience, because that's what Aquarius is about, making things easier. All right, for better or for worse. It really depends on how we use the information, the technology, all of those things. We already know some people are going to be out of hand with this shit. We already know. So that's what this is all about. There's going to be changes in power, right? Because Pluto represents power. Aquarius represents every man. Aquarius represents groups, friend groups, communities, networks, associations. Right? Power to those specific things. And that's what's happening. And there will also be changes because Pluto represents chemistry and crisis and things of that nature, right? So there will be breakthroughs when it comes to science. There'll be breakthroughs when it comes to new technologies, and breakthroughs when it comes to medicines and all that kind of stuff. Like, it'll be really, really, really wild. It'd be futuristic because we're in Aquarius. Aquarius deals with the future. Pluto empowers the future, blah, 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 blah. So we're all going to be dealing with those things, but how we're going to be dealing with them are going to be different. People with fire and air are going to be way more into it than people with earth and water, okay? Like, straight up. Why? Because Pluto's going to go into Aquarius. Pluto is going to energize and empower. It's going to break down structures. It's going to build, break things down. It's going to disempower some groups, and it's going to empower other groups. And it's going to make certain types of people feel certain types of way. But it's not necessarily a negative or a bad thing, because the square can give you the grit, the ambition, the need to challenge certain aspects of this energy. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the trine and the sextile, you'll see the opportunity, or you'll appreciate those changes more than a person with, things that are inconjunct, opposite. Like, I wonder how Leos are going to feel about this. and square these planets. All right, is this making sense to you guys? So now we're going to talk about Virgo rising, because your Pluto has been in your 5th house since 2008 to 2024, because that's when it really goes in there. You've been changing the way you show up in love completely. All right. Pluto going through the 5th house as a Virgo rising has been quite interesting. It has brought some chaos into your love life, but the way you've handled it has been very much up to you, because your rising sign is Virgo and it creates a trine there. So you could have gotten away with being a little scandalous, you know what I'm saying? Because Pluto's there causing some upheaval, especially if you were young. You could have had a little playboy energy, because Pluto, you know, is the 5th house of lovers. Like, give me a little bit of everything type of shit, all right? This is could be going down. I'm telling you, because Virgo risings have a tendency to suppress their fun, their ego a lot, because they have Leo in the 12th house, and the 12th house is what we tend to suppress and what we kind of put to the back to polish up, because we don't want people to see that part of us, all right? Or what we try to hide away from. So Virgo rising, so they have Pluto in the 5th house. That's baby making energy. That's making money off of gambling, okay? Having gambling issues, addictions, making money through speculative activities. These people could have been gamers. These people could have been, performers. These people could have been all kinds of things, because the 5th house is so active. You felt so empowered by that. You could have really, your self-expression, your creativity, your libido, like literally your zhuzh, you know what I'm saying, was coming like really strong, coming really on. You even became more reserved in a certain kind of way, because you was wild at some point. You was, especially when you was wild. You know what I'm saying? Pluto going through that 5th house. It was like, we gonna party till we die, bitch. Okay, period. We party till we die. Like, don't play with Virgos. And they have they have Pisces on the 7th house with Neptune transiting. They was pulling in all kinds of riff-raff type of motherfuckers, all kinds of shenanigan type of people who was doing all kinds of shit with them, okay? All kinds. Unless your Mercury was, I'm telling you, was suppressed by Saturn or in the 12th house. I don't know, maybe the 12th, but like suppressed by Pluto, Saturn, suppressed, like tempered down, you know what I'm saying? But most of the time, these Virgos were having a good time. They were highly creative. I feel like a lot of Virgo risings were probably the ones probably making the internet pop too, because Virgo risings are extremely creative. They're masters of what they do. You guys became the master of some type of craft, you know, whether it's the craft of your verbosity, the craft of your expression, or your funny. That's all 5th house things, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I feel like you guys just got really good at perfecting your personalities too, because that's the 5th house. The 5th house is how you present. And Capricorn is also your business. You guys could have had ample opportunities, right, to work in really established businesses, powerful corporations, working for powerful people, being their assistant, all that kind of shit, because the 5th house is your Capricorn house, meaning that a lot of times you guys work in these fields, in 5th house fields, dealing with children. You guys could have became the principal somewhere, could have, became the head of something, something of that, even became some type of politician too, because Pluto is just empowering your 5th house. And it's opposite your 11th house. So you was doing all that. And when it came to romance, you was in your zone. You hear what I'm saying? Right. So you guys were having a good time. We're doing that. Now, Pluto is going to be touching into the 6th house. And the sixth house is in conjunct the first house, meaning this agitated, this annoying bitch, go away, you're annoying. You know how you just see somebody, you're just like, oh my God, you're so annoying, oh my God. Like, why? I have to give them a plate too? Fine, here's a plate. That's what an inconjunct is. It's an agitation, but you have to make amends, right? The sixth house is your body. It's the way you take care of your body, the way you manage your energy. And this is why I always tell Virgos it's about self energy management, because you guys do more damage when you guys do too much for other people and you don't serve yourself first. And I will always stick by that. Always. So, because Virgos, you thrive off of routine, meaning that you have to routine yourself, not routine other people. Routine yourself, right? Put yourself on a schedule, on a regimen. How much energy you can give out to certain things. That's what you have to learn as a Virgo. I can do an hour conversation on the phone. I can do a 2-hour dinner. I can do 30 minutes on homework. I can do this. Like, literally, that's what you're supposed to learn as a Virgo. How to micromanage these little sections of your life. Now, Pluto is going to be entering your sixth house. Let me read what I wrote here. Pluto is the ruler of your third house. Your third house rules your lower mind, transportation, relationship with siblings, aunts, uncles, neighbors, local community, best friends, early education, your thought process. It's entering your sixth house of health, daily routines, debts, mundane activities, pets, mental health, energy management. Will bring up a crisis for you if you haven't been on top of your health, especially since you had transit Saturn in your sixth house, asking you to get serious and put some boundaries and create a system for your health. Okay? So, because Saturn was just in your fifth house. In your sixth house, excuse me. Saturn was in your sixth house. So I know you guys got to check up on some health thing. Because if Saturn is at an aspect, say if your rising is at 9 degrees and Saturn's at 9 degrees in your sixth house, it creates an inconjunct showing you that you have to check something out. There could have been an injury, Aquarius, to your shins, ankles, calves, or something within your circulatory system. Get into it, okay? Listen, astrology don't be playing. So Saturn is there. So with Pluto there, will make an inconjunct to your ascendant, and this can be an accident due to short distance travel, your third house. Watch your driving, road rage, etc. The closer Pluto gets to your personal rising degree. It will be there for a few months. Meaning stop texting and driving for real. Whatever little obsessive habit you have, because that's what the sixth house is, your habits, it's going to be an inconvenience to you. It's your forgetfulness, whatever is happening that is fucking you up, it is going to be an inconvenience to you. Your obsessive habit, whether you're always on the phone, whether you are always late, pressing the snooze button, it will impact something in your sixth house, okay? You're driving, something of that nature. So watch out for that. I wrote here, healing power will be through your mind, books, healers in your local neighborhood. Aquarius, this is when the south node moves out of your third house for the local neighborhood thing. What I say, Aquarius rules the shin, lower legs, circulation, calves, and ankles. Okay, watch for twitches and stress. Beware for areas of infection, so down there. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, but the sixth house is about purification. So if there's any issues, purification could be a very good healing tool for you because Pluto is about dead things and elimination, and Virgo is about sixth house is about purifying it. So boom, detox, boom. But you'll have to do a lot of research. Pluto here can make you learn how to heal, because this is the house of well-being, and health will become more of an obsession for you, a serious focus for you. Relationships with co-workers can show power struggles because of third house topics, even things with cars and parking, emails, gossip, he said, she said things, all third house topics. Pluto also can bring in obsession because we try to do too much. So you can become very obsessed with having a new health routine. You can be obsessed with what you eat, so be mindful of any eating disorders, okay? So just be really aware and have a very balanced way of living, something that you can maintain and that becomes a lifestyle, not something that is a temporary fix. Because remember, the third house deals with fidgety, fickle matters, and the ninth house deals with a deeper reasoning. So you have to you have to use your belief system to support the change that you're creating in your habits, right? And that was the point of having this ninth house transit, where you meet all these gurus and got all this information and all, you know, you were like, oh my God, wow, that's so dope, and I love this, and I learned this, and I learned about astrology, and I learned about metaphysics, and I learned about Buddhism, and I learned about this, and I learned about that. That's what the ninth house transit is supposed to be. I went on vacation here, and I talked to this older person, and they told me this wisdom, and I gained so much knowledge, I gained so much experience, and I have a brand new outlook on life. That has to support your sixth house of habits, okay? So that's how those things can work together for you. Pluto in the third house could be secret attraction to coworkers or employees, okay? Also, it can bring obsessive coworkers or employees, so be mindful. Pluto is extremes. That's what it always is. You know, a health crisis can put you into an extreme, and this is why detoxing is recommended a lot of the times. Also, you're going to have to come to terms with how your habits control you, like I said before, but the great thing is Pluto eliminates things, so this is a great time to let go of habits and heal certain coping mechanisms, which is so good. This is such a great transit, because I had this transit for me, because that was Pluto in Sagittarius. Sagittarius was my sixth house. I became vegan, I became vegetarian, vegan, pescatarian. Like, I really learned about my health during that time. I did have crisis in sixth house stuff. Like, I did have to go to the hospital a few times for some shit, because it just happens sometimes. But, you know, everybody don't get fucked up like that. It's not in everybody's chart. It's in my chart. Okay, so someone in your family can get a disease, and that could be one of your wake-up calls for health. So again, that third house, sixth house thing going together, and there could be like a surgery needed, some kind of crisis like that. So your food choices could have been super erratic and super up and down, because of the things that you find pleasurable might be a cause of health issues, because there's no moderation. Remember, because you have Uranus in the ninth house, and your sixth house is your health, so it's ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is transiting your ninth house, and your ninth house deals with big things, and Taurus deals with money and appetites and food and indulgences and like kind of putting anything into your body, and Uranus deals with convenience. So this is people ordering out a lot and not cooking and things of that nature. This is why it's really important with this Pluto transit to really be serious about this, okay? Pluto can make you want to get a behind the scenes job. So be on more the side of producing something of service or to help others. So this could be you owning your own business. I can see you guys having your own veterinary business, your foster care business with pets. You know, you can have your own cleaning service business. You can have some kind of internet business that helps different that is of service to businesses. You can do something with your community, you know, something of that nature, but something where you go behind the scenes and you produce and you start putting things and the pieces together to help other people and empower other people. Like, you want to give people jobs and things like that. This is like 1099 type of thing too. There's going to be a losing and then gaining control of your everyday life, and I feel like you guys kind of feel me on that. There'll be a helping your friends. So your friends also go through extreme job changes and health changes. The sixth house is also the house of self-improvement. So remember, don't go overboard. Then there's also a daily purging that's needed. So this is the habit thing that I was talking about. These are my different notes that I put down. Make sure that your colon is clean and that you're not constipated, because Virgo deals with the intestines, right? And then Scorpio deals with the reproductive space. So really just getting on top of your health, y'all. Your colon, your intestines, your circulation will be super key, knowing how your body is doing. You will become a master at whatever craft. You'll be very obsessed with your future every single day of your life. You'll talk about it nonstop, what you want to do, what you want to do for other people, how you want to help, how you want to be of service, things of that nature will be really much on your mind. You'll be changing how you look at servitude, how you can show up and help people. You'll want to be in charge and probably in a more powerful position. Again, that's why I said behind the scenes. You'll, the warning I have is hiring people without the skill set will be of detriment to your business. So this is not a time to take somebody under your wing with this 20-year transit. I'm sorry. You have to take somebody who is just as good as you or better. Somebody that you can trade skills with, because Pluto in the 6th house creates power dynamics, and it can create demands and compulsion and being sneaky and undermined and jealousy and all those other things. And in the 6th house, it's not great. So you need somebody who has a similar skill level to you. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody who feels empowered by their craft, not somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. That's why I really say that. Somebody who 3rd house has the knowledge and is willing to share it freely with you, you know, and not trying to hoard knowledge or hoard things. Those kind of people, do not hire them. Don't be around them. It's going to be very difficult to have relationships with them because they're going to always be battling with you. You may feel underappreciated at your job, and this is why you'll probably change your job. That's why you'll want to have a more power position. Chores might feel overwhelming to you psychologically because you'll have to deal with that as well. But you will, at the end of all of this entire transit and this 20-year transit, you will become way more practical, sensible, hardworking, results-oriented, and a better problem solver. You'll be into therapies, being holistic, eating whole foods, and probably eliminating the internet as well. So that's just your Pluto transit. Like, that's just Pluto, baby. Like, shout, woo! So I'm gonna read a little bit more, and then, yeah. So that's your Pluto, and that's a dip. So when this is happening for you, for that few months, you're gonna be super serious, but don't fall off, because Pluto is gonna go retrograde, and that makes you wanna re-dip into 5th house topics. Oh, and also if you have children, the 5th house could have been a power struggle with the kids too, but it should be working out in your favor, especially if you've been on time and patient and disciplined. Those are the key words because it's trining your 1st house. If you embody those things, if you embody Virgo energy, which means you're clean, you're on time, you have a schedule, your routine, it should be no problem for you, you know, but there could be power struggles there. Or your child can just be coming into their own as well. You know what I'm saying? That can also be happening with that. Now, Neptune has been transiting your 7th house, meaning that you've probably been attracting fuck motherfuckers for a very long time, since 2011. Neptune here can make you attract, your 7th house is ruled by Neptune, so it goes in, you know, it's there, it's empowered, like it's strong, so you're very much into mystics, witches, weirdos, spacey people who kind of isolate themselves, people who are loners, people who are artists, freaks and geeks. You know, Neptune is all things and it's nothing. It really depends on where your natal Neptune is and what it's aspecting. But because you've been very focused on relationships. You've been focused on finding somebody else. So you could have made a wrong choice with somebody at some point, and Neptune creates confusion when it first enters the house that it's in, and then it creates spirituality, right? Because through confusion, through the fog, Neptune is the fog, unease, not knowing, through that's when you have faith, to be led by faith, to be led by hand, and that is spirituality, to be able to close your eyes and still have faith and still be led to the correct place, right? That is the essence of it. So Neptune there has been spiritualizing a lot of your relationships. So it dissolves relationships too, but it also merges things for you. So you could have absolutely merged with somebody. That could be a regret or not a regret. It depends on the aspects to your natal Neptune. Once again, if your Neptune is squared up, then it's probably a regret. But you had to learn from that experience, because it's all about boundaries. Saturn is going to be coming in there. And so Saturn is going to test your relationships. It's going to test how strong you've been in your boundaries, how steadfast you've been, how disciplined you've been. Saturn is also the ruler of your 5th house. So that means there's going to be changes in the people that you're attracted to as well. Changes in the people who you connect with, or the people that you want to do business and partnership with. You're going to want to do business partnership with more Piscean people. And as Saturn was traveling throughout those years, those are the kind of people that you were attracted to, okay? Like when Saturn was in Sagittarius, you were attracted to hot messes, people who came from messy family situations, right? When Saturn was in Scorpio, you probably slept with a friend and kept it a secret. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. This is what I mean by Pisces on the 7th. You're attracted to every and anybody, okay? It just really depends on where Saturn is, what it's doing. But Saturn in your 7th house, it should have been a blessing last year somehow, some way, because Jupiter was also transiting your 7th house. You could have met somebody that you were interested in. Jupiter represents your 4th house, somebody that you at least felt close to, becoming a best friend, rediscovering a family member, reconnecting with somebody. It really depends on your aspects. But Saturn is going to come in there to strengthen, to test the commitment, to test the longevity of all your personal relationships. It'll be a 2.5-year transit. It'll test, patience is the key. A lot of times your partner could be more distant, or they could be gone for work a lot, or just very focused on their career, because Saturn will be in their 1st house. So this can make them come off more serious, more reserved, more strategic, or they're just embodying more Saturnian qualities of discipline, time, maturity, things of that nature, okay? So if you have water planets, it's going to be good, because you might be getting married. Like you could have been getting engaged last year, especially if you have water planets, because Jupiter is transiting your 7th house. You met somebody, your love expanded for somebody, or maybe your partner decided to get pregnant, or your partner was expanding somehow as well. Okay, but Saturn is going to come here and just test that, and test how strong and resilient and how long this relationship really can go. And that's fine. Like that's what the point is. The point is to be tested, right? And to see how it goes. So again, if Saturn has a lot of squares to it, it could be a harder test. It could feel more draining, dry, and it can feel harder. It could just feel more of a struggle. That's what Saturn is. But Saturn can also delay things. So imagine if you want to have a baby, or you're trying to move, or you want to try to get married, Saturn can also be delaying that and whatever, because it's going to just tests. It's going to put you through tests. And Saturn represents your 5th house of fun, and your 6th house of health. So it could be because of a health issue, because of what we spoke about before. Moving on, North Node is going to be transiting into your 8th house. It's still in your 7th house right now. Again, that should have been like you met somebody. Either you met a business partner, or a best friend, or a marriage partner, or like the lawyer of your dreams, or something. But somehow, some way, connections are coming in very strongly for Virgo rising, because you have North Node transiting your 9th house. North Node, transiting your 9th house. And so you could have definitely been out in the world collecting a lot of knowledge, collecting a lot of people, letting go of a lot of things. And the thing is, you probably think that, oh no, I don't know a lot of people, but you do, because you know people that are going to help you attain your future. You know what I'm saying? That's really what's happening, because the North Node was transiting your 9th. All right. So, but now the North Node is going to go in your 8th, and it's going to deepen those relationships. Again, it makes sense, because your 7th house is going to be Saturn. It's going to be challenged, and it makes sense, because can we go through a crisis together? All right. North Node Aries, I think a crisis is going to come out of nowhere, because it happens very fast. The 8th house, but you guys are very much prepared for that. A lot of Virgos usually like to be in crisis situations. They like to be, they're very purposeful. They're very fearless, usually, especially if there's no crazy stuff going on in the 8th house. Usually they're super fearless if it's there's no planets in there, if there's no heavy planets on there. Usually they're super fearless. because they want to help. You know, they are very sacrificing type of people, because remember, Pisces is on the 7th, so they have a tendency to see other people as weaker as them, okay? and one of the lessons is to realize that everybody has their own trauma. Aries, 8th house, everybody has their own pain. Everybody has also the ability and the resources to heal themselves. Okay, most people do, at least. So with Aries in the 8th North Node, I feel like you're gonna go through radical healing. I feel like you guys are gonna throw money at counseling, throw money at therapy, throw money at self-help, anything like martial arts, learning to defend yourself, learning even buying weapons, learning how to handle guns, just learning how to protect yourself. That's just going to be super important to you. Aries is survival tactics, you know, so those things are going to be at the forefront. Even sex, learning about your sexuality, learning about your sexual libido, investing in private shops, you know, things of that, private workshops, shit like that, okay? That could definitely be a thing too. Or you could be teaching these. It really just depends on how it's aspecting your stuff. But either way, you could be diving deep into that. You can also be way more curious about investments, learning how to attain assets and learning how to attain other people's resources. You could also be very curious about death. You could also have experience, like I said, things about death, and just, again, this would make Chiron transiting there, just, it's gonna make you fearless after the transit, okay? And it's gonna make you a self-healer, a radical self-healer. As well as North Node in Aries there is gonna make you probably feel more, first make you feel disempowered and then feel empowered when you take personal responsibility for change, right? Change comes through learning self-survival tactics, learning self-perseverance, things of that nature, because Virgo you guys literally will sacrifice yourself, so that's why you guys have to learn self-perseverance. You have to learn how to put yourself and heal yourself first. It's really, really important. Then Jupiter, Uranus has been in Taurus in the 9th house for a few years. It's going to be there until I think like 2026, if I'm not mistaken. Uranus rules your 6th house of health. So your beliefs around your routines, your health could have been out of whack. That could have been changed too. It could have been up and down. Your daily routines could have been really all over the place. It really just depends on what you are reading or where you're at the time, especially when you're traveling. It could just throw you off. However, you could have radicalized your belief system too. You could definitely come off as the rebel rouser, as the person who likes to shake the room, shake the table with this kind of thing. You could have run into a lot of different new age ideas. Okay, that's Uranus. You could have definitely dived into that. Uranus is also astrology, so astrology in the 9th house could have entered the 9th house. That's when you could have discovered it. There will be a conjunction in 2024, Jupiter and Uranus, and I'll talk about that in another video. So Jupiter will come into your 9th house. It's in your 8th house right now, so it's expanding all the things that I talked about before, and it's showing blessings, and it's liberating, and it's giving freedom to that. Okay, it's creating new belief systems around it as well. It's in the 9th. It's going to go in the 9th house in May. So travel. Jupiter loves being in the 9th house. Travel is on the horizon. The 4th house is Sagittarius. I see a lot of you going home and or traveling with family members. Okay. Or going to a faraway land that you just feel so comfortable with, that you feel that you can live at. Like, yo, I really think I could live here. This could be the spot for me. Okay, that could definitely be a thing for you. Jupiter in the 9th house. It's going to be a beautiful time, and that should be trining. It should be trining your Virgo rising. So you have that trining your Virgo rising. So the blessing is going to come through your belief system. The blessing is going to come through seeing the bigger picture. Make sure you guys go ahead and put some trips down. Try to schedule them before the Mercury goes retrograde. All the retrogrades will be happening in earth signs. That means your 1st house will be going retrograde. Your 5th house of lovers, children, creativity will be going retrograde. And your 9th house of belief systems will be going retrograde. So there could be, challenges around those things. But remember, if you create a foundation, a stable, consistent routine of joy, belief, and self-improvement, and even not self-improvement in the terms of self-harm self-improvement, but self-improvement for the joy of living, then Virgo, you will very much have a good time on earth. You know what I'm saying? If you improve yourself for the joy of living. Why do I say that? Because the first house is trine the fifth house. Okay, and it's trying the ninth house. So improve yourself for the joy of the pleasures of living, the joy of oh, I have a body. I want to respect my body, and I want to respect my time. I want to respect my routine, and I want to write down my strategy and things of that nature, right? Lilith, last one, Lilith is going to be in the 12th house. So baby, this is going to stir up a lot when it comes to your ego. Your pride is going to be bubbling. It's gonna be bubbling, and every month is gonna be a different story, because it really depends on how it's hitting your other planets, because the sun moves every month. So literally, the 12th house of Lilith is gonna have suppressed childhood memories coming up, dreams. I could feel you probably have dreams of you fighting as a kid, having your voice crushed as a kid. But if you really take this on, this could be a great time to again, you'll see how it impacts your house. You know, the opposite house is going to be Aquarius. Just observe and, you know, share with a close friend that you feel comfortable with talking about mental health and sixth house topics. So Lilith in the 12th house is going to really make you, it's going to make you want to rage. It's going to make you want to party. It's gonna make you wanna go out and you know, do things at night that no one can see, type of, because Lilith just and I'm telling you, because it's Leo type of things, somebody gonna see it. It's probably the internet, sixth house type of shit. It's gonna be really fucking annoying. So just be happy with whatever you're doing. If you're living, just be honest with what you are. Leo is about being brave. Okay, brave enough to know the Ross version of who you are, not the service version of who you are, not the humble version of who you are, not the version you've curated for everybody for who you are, okay? Because your values are gonna shift and they're gonna change. South Node in the second house, the way that you spend your time, your money, your resources is gonna change. It's gonna be a huge change for you. Lilith is gonna bring that out. I really feel like Lilith and Chiron are very powerful. Lilith is gonna trine your Chiron, meaning there's gonna be an opportunity to have amazing sex, life-changing sex. Get into the transit. Get into the transit, write it down. Look at when Chiron and Lilith are literally trining. And if you have the opportunity, it doesn't matter if you're alone, it doesn't matter if you have a partner, but that would be a great time because it's Aries in the 8th house. Self-pleasure could be extremely healing for you. So, and then Leo is having fun. Lilith is doing something, you know, maybe you're like, oh my God, I don't know about what it is. And then when it's that, on the day it's that trine, baby, it could be a release for you. It could be, you know, it could be so healing for you because of that 12th house energy. It could be spiritual for you, and it can make you understand what sex could be in your life, what that could show up for you now, especially with North Node trining, going into the 8th house. It's going to change the way you look at sex. It's going to change the way you look at sexual energy. So it should be a really exciting time for Virgo risings if you're not too hard on yourself. Make sure that, again, you look at your progressed moon and sun aspects to your natal moon, Mars, Mercury, Venus. The closer, the more impacted you'll be. If it appears 3 times, it will usually happen. Okay, and then you can look at the aspects and look them up. A sextile, you make the opportunity, is 60 degrees. A trine is 120 degrees. It's an easy flow. It's a blessing you might not even notice. Quintile is a skill to attain, 72 degrees. Biquintile is a 144 degrees, a skill to build upon. A conjunction is 0 to 8 degrees. Is very powerful. It can help or harm. It depends on which planets are involved. Semi-sextile is a soft aspect. Again, it depends on planets. Square is a tension. It could be a fight. It could be for good or for evil. Depends on the planets. Opposition is a 180, making a choice because of an outside person or event, learning the art of compromise. Semi-square is 45 degrees. You have to adjust to something. Sesquiquadrant is an indirect conflict that if something will just happen and it might not even be your fault. It's just going to be outside of you. And a quincunx And in conjunct is 50 degrees, it's an irritation, right? It's like an itch that you gotta scratch. You might as well just notice it. Like I think Gemini is and Scorpio are in conjunct. So talking about the shit that scares you is uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is uncomfortable, but it needs to be done. You know, or else we can never break through. We can never get through to the next thing. And Sagittarius, we can never get to the bigger picture. We can never get to the bigger lesson of it all. So I hope you guys like this reading. Enjoy my Patreon. I'm gonna go ahead and go out, have some dinner. I'm thirsty, I'm hungry. I've been doing astrology all day long. Tell your Virgo rising friends. See if this works for your progress chart. And yeah, let's see what happens. Good luck. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're watching Mercury's, okay? Bye.